hello, and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast, number 25.
Hey.
And you may notice we're down a guy, but...
we played musical chairs, and Anthony lost.
He lost.
So
he's out forever. Sorry. Bye. Just kidding. He's taking a day off, Guy needs a break, with... his motor mouthing, he's got to turn down at some point.
That's right.
I remember reading a comment where somebody's like, just let Levi talk. Anthony needs to calm down. It's like, oh, poor Anthony.
Yeah. I didn't even read that. That's great.
Nope, I saw that. That was nice.
Yeah. Well, Anthony has the day off today. He had Friday off. They went to what did he say they had to go to?
He went somewhere, like he flew somewhere, didn't he?
They went and visited somebody.
I feel like I should know this, but
maybe for a wedding. I don't really remember. Yeah. But anyway... He took the day off because we are flying out to Orlando on Wednesday. So today's Monday.
Yeah, coming up.
Trying to get some little stuff done here and there, office stuff. We got everything shipped on Friday.
I still feel like there's a ton of stuff left to take.
Yeah, it still feels like we're not exactly.
Yeah. We shipped like a pallet of stuff ahead of us just because it would be way too difficult to try and carry it all. Yeah. And when you're going across the country, you kind of freak out about, I need this and then that. And you're always forgetting something.
Well, and we're flying from Boise to Denver to Orlando, which isn't bad. The funny thing was there was a flight that was Boise to Seattle. And then a nonstop flight to Orlando from literally each end of the continent.
If you look at it
nonstop,
if you look at it on its face, it looks dumb, but I understand why they do it because Boise is not as big an airport as SeaTac.
I know,
I got
still,
that, but still looks dumb on a map.
Well, I was like, I don't know if I want to sit on a plane that long.
No.
So
enjoy this really long flight.
So we're gonna fly Boise to Denver, and we got a nice flight. We don't leave till like 9 a.m.
Yeah,
so we don't have to get up crazy early or anything.
Of course, that also means we'll be arriving
it's about 6 o'clock, not too bad. And then we'll get our rental car and head to our Airbnb.
Well, that's right, because we're going back. The time zone's going to be a bit of a shift for us.
So it'll feel like
fun.
4 o'clock when we land. So it won't be too bad. So should be fun, though. We're going to be in Orlando for Mobile Tech all week. So come see us. That's you need to.
Yeah, that's the basic gist of it. So if you're going to be there, awesome. We'll see you. If you're not planning on being there, plan on being there.
Next year.
We'll see you. Or, next year we'll probably do the same thing again, although I think we'll have a better idea of what we need to bring and what we don't need to bring next time. This is like a test run. You were there with Jeff last year.
I did. I went with your dad last year, and it was wild and crazy and fun. And But I liked how intimate it was and how much we got to talk with people.
Well, it was so funny.
Make real connections.
You guys got a big rush from just sitting on like a corner, a little bitty piece of a table, and you just stuck a little Rag Company logo on it, and then people were like flocking to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were calling you going, Dane, we can't get this file to work so we can print out a flyer.
Send it off my phone or something.
Yeah,
I remember
it was
that.
pretty funny. But no, it'll be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going down for literally from Wednesday to Tuesday. So quite a number of days. It's almost 7 days.
Yeah. But it's chock full of stuff, too.
We got a lot of stuff to do that week, so it'll be cool. And I'm excited to show you guys how much more orange juice costs over there.
Oh, yeah, that's always fun, because that makes sense. This is where the oranges are, but they all leave the state. They go somewhere else.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys haven't checked out the new IK Sprayers video that Anthony and Dane and I did, do check it out.
You should.
Pretty awesome. And for those of you that bought IK Sprayers and you're not really sure, you got little questions, watch it because it'll help hopefully answer some of those.
It should make a lot of sense because, there's definitely people who after watching it just suddenly go, now I get it. Because this is like a whole thing that kind of comes into it as people keep offering up, my $5 bug sprayer can do the same thing. And it's like, well, a Kia can get you the same place a BMW can, but it's not necessarily the point.
Well, and it's not even that.
It's not even that.
It's not even a BMW. It's the fact that this does things that other sprayers can't. You cannot go to the Ace Hardware and pick up a foaming sprayer. They don't have them.
No.
They don't make them. You can't go to
charitable with that one. But finding a foaming one.
And that's what makes ours different. It is strictly a foamer. If you want to get a weed sprayer, go get a weed sprayer. There's plenty of those on the market. We picked this one because it foams.
It was designed with detailing and detailing chemical use in mind, whereas the other ones are designed with, some insecticide is going to go in this thing, and it's going to get sprayed around, and it works good for that. And yeah, you can kind of, cross them and you can put stuff in the other thing and use it. And there's plenty of people who seem happy with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's like, here's an option that's purpose built for this purpose. So, yeah, if that's what you're looking for, then this is the route you'll want to go.
And then the multis are the smaller ones, the multi and the foamer. Again, a multi because you can put lots of different chemicals in it, or you can buy multiple versions of it and just put all your sprayables in it if you want, and utilize that. And it's just going to save your joints in your hands more because you're just going to be using this.
Well, and it's nice with the multi, that's more of your traditional kind of pump sprayer, but at the same time, it comes with different nozzles. So now, where you can actually do the fan that you can do with the foam. Now you can do the fan with just a spray of just anything.
Yep.
And it's nice because a lot of those other pump sprayers are kind of stuck with what you got, and there's not really an aftermarket, so to speak, to give you alternatives. You really have to jury rig everything.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like they give you the tools right out the kit to do that.
Yeah, and that makes it nice. And then, again, the foamer, it's a handheld foamer.
Yeah.
It's small, and it's portable, so you can use it for interiors. A lot of guys, you can use it for wheel cleaning. You can use it for engine degreasing.
That's where the 1.5 really shines, is especially like engine bays and interior fabrics and stuff like that, because it's not a big thing you got to lug around. And wheels. I mean, it knocks that stuff out super easy, and it holds just enough product. You can get everything without having a bunch left over,
Right, yep. And that's what's nice about them is, like I said, you got either the little guy that you can knock out all that stuff, or if you need the bigger one for specific foaming jobs.
And that's the big one is killer, because I don't think people realize just how far that big one goes.
Oh, it's like a ton of foam forever.
A full I just fielded a phone call. A guy
was calling, literally asking, how many cars can I do with this? And I just was like, 2 small cars and 1 big car. I don't. You could keep going. I'd try it for yourself. Test it out for yourself.
It's surprisingly, it goes for a while.
And so in that sense, it saves you chemicals because of the atomization of it, because of the dilution, the mixture, and the way it works. You're going to be using less chemical on your vehicle.
And you're letting the foam dwell and do its thing. I mean, depending on, and that's the thing is these, unlike a lot of other ones where even there are other foaming sprayers on the market, we would never claim that this is the only thing. Like there's other ones out there, but the big difference, one of the big differences with these is they give you options on the kind of foam. I mean, you can actually change out the part and go, I want a dry foam now. Right. And suddenly these tools become way more versatile because somebody actually did the R&D to figure out, okay, I can have foam, but what kind of foam do I want? And they actually give you that option. Whereas a lot of these other foamers is you see what you get and that's it.
I was watching one of Matt's videos this weekend, and he was spraying down his Porsche, and he was talking about, and it was on Obsessed Garage.
Yeah.
But he was spraying, and he had a new foam cannon. And this is a video from a while back, but he was spraying, he was foaming the car, and he was saying, like, it's weird how some foam cannons work differently. He goes, sometimes the soap and water's not mixed enough.
Yeah.
He goes, I've got the most expensive pressure washer and the most expensive foam cannon, and sometimes the foam just comes out not right. What's cool about the IK sprayers is they have these specifically designed tips to create a different foam, different consistency of foam. So if you want a wet foam that clings, it's not as, it's foamy, but it's not like shaving cream foam.
It's the one you want when you got
foam.
Like a nasty, dirty, really needs to break down that grime.
Yep. And then you've got the dry, you've got a dry foam, which is like shaving cream.
Which looks good, but also serves a purpose when you're working on interior bits.
You're using, it's got less
you don't
water.
Want to soak those fabrics.
Less water. It's more air, less water. And so that way you can do seats, you can do carpets, you can do all kinds of stuff with that. And then it's got the normal foam, which everybody's used to seeing on a car.
And that's right out of the box. And that one's really appealing, just right off the bat. I think for most situations, you could use that for
just about anything, really. Yeah. So,
but and one thing I did want to point out, something that comes up for people, specifically with the dry foam, say on interior applications and stuff, is you're going to use more air to do that because it's got to compress harder, it's got to do more, but at the same time that's just logic. I mean, that's just how that works. So don't be surprised if you put it in a higher pressure situation, you're going to run through more air before you're able to cover stuff. But that's just the way that works. So you're stuck with the limits of science at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's mostly just doing that. You can't blame the product. If it's going to take some more pumps, it takes some more pumps.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can get a lot done with those.
Yeah. No, it's surprisingly efficient, and that's what we're all about. So,
well, and that's the thing is, I was talking with some folks over the weekend. I answer comments day in, day out.
You and me both.
You know, you get the emails especially. I'm usually just following the comments and stuff, but you see that stuff, and people have good questions. I mean, they're trying to figure out if something's right for them. And I'm always, this is my big thing, is I always try to be really honest and straightforward rather than telling somebody they have to have this or this is the only way to do it, because I see a lot of other places do that, and that doesn't appeal to me. Like, I feel like it's disingenuous right off the bat. I'd rather have somebody tell me the limitations of something and I can go, well, that affects me or that doesn't affect me. And then I can take that information and roll with it. So, yeah, I usually try and be straight up. So that's why I mentioned the extra pressure thing, because it's like, well, if that's going to bother you, then that's just a fact of life. That's how it works. But knowing that going in makes you more willing to deal with it if you confront that. So it's just being transparent. I think a lot of people appreciate that.
So you answered tons of questions this weekend. What else did you do?
What else did I do this weekend? No, just answering questions mostly. That and watching Black Mirror. So catching up on that. They got the new
almost
season.
Done with that?
There was a Scangrip in an episode.
There was. I hope you guys saw that.
Yeah.
So it was a very odd episode, but there was a Scangrip in it.
Not the happiest situation to find a Scangrip in.
Yeah.
Apparently a Scangrip's useful for more than you think.
So I went to the RV show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
there's an RV show here in Boise, and so my dad wrote all of us and said, "Do you guys want to go to the RV show? I'm buying." And we're like, "Done. We will be there." And so I took my kids, and my sister and her husband, they showed up and brought their little girl, and so we just followed the grandparents around and looked at motorhomes and RVs. My parents own a motorhome. It got wrecked this summer.
What happened to it?
I showed you pictures, I think.
Yeah, you showed me pictures. I don't remember
So
this.
a guy...
I remember now.
Okay. So,
they weren't driving. It was like a hit and run or something.
Yeah, so my dad got the motorhome and then went through... He got it this last winter and spent all spring getting it all souped up and tuned up and all this stuff. Had some new stuff put in it and some other things and just made it theirs. It is a used motorhome.
Sure.
It's a 35-foot and... He basically, just went through it all and made it theirs. And then he built a covered area on one of his properties. My dad has a lot of rental properties around the city.
Right.
And so he's got one rental property that's literally across, it's maybe a block and a half, 2 blocks away from his house. And he's got it all kind of split up so that the rentals have their own yards and stuff. And then he's got a couple he's got a large storage unit, like a shed that he built there, and then he's got a parking pad and stuff. And so he was building an even bigger parking pad with a covered area and stuff so that he could park the motorhome there. And it's all fenced off, so it's if you're the tenant, it just looks like somebody else has this little piece of property that's all fenced off and stuff.
Doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, you still have your area. Anyway, so the concrete was getting poured.
Yeah.
Because the roof and the lean-to was all built and all that. And then the concrete was getting poured. And he had 2 days before he could pull the motorhome onto that pad.
Oh, okay.
And so he parked it in front of his house. There's a parking pad in front of his house that's not on the street.
Right.
It's specifically designed for parking cars on, right? So he parks it there. Mm-hmm. And a kid is driving down the street, texting on his phone, not paying attention, and proceeds to plow headfirst into it.
Dude.
At 35 miles an hour.
No.
The neighbor is outside watering his lawn.
35's not fast, but it's not slow either.
Yeah, watering his flowers. He's out there, watches the guy straight up hit it, watched him hit it.
Don't text and drive, kids.
So this kid's driving a Cavalier.
Yeah.
Totals the car.
What year Cavalier?
It was like late 90s.
Okay.
Totals the Cavalier. And the kid...
It's made out of cardboard.
Gets out and looks at it, gets back in his Cavalier, proceeds to drive away.
Oh, geez. That's right.
Now, because he has smashed his radiator, he has smashed his hood up above his windshield.
Well, he's leaving a trail, too.
He's leaving a trail of oil and water and everything.
Where'd the guy go?
Yeah. The car seizes.
Oh.
Not even a block away.
He was going to keep going, but it ceased. Okay.
Yeah. The neighbor just walked down, like just followed him, just walked after his car as the kid's trying to get away. His car is messed up. And
Have
gets
a little
to the
car trouble there, son?
Yeah. The neighbor stops and is like, yeah, I just saw what you did. Like, I watched you. I've got your license plate number. I need your registration. I'm on the phone with the police. They're on their way. And why'd you run?
You really shouldn't have tried to run.
And the kid goes, I didn't think it was that bad. The neighbor goes, really? Look at your car.
Your car literally can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
No, his car was still there when my dad. So the neighbor called my dad to let him know. And my dad left work early and he came home and the kid's car was still there. And my dad was like, what a dumbass for trying to drive away. Like, his car was messed up. And so my dad took some pictures and sent them to me. And it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
It's not a crime until you start to drive away and try and run away from it. And then, wow, you just created a whole bunch of new problems for yourself.
And it was middle of the day. It was like noon. So that kid probably came home for lunch or whatever and was leaving to go back to work and was just not paying attention, just texting and driving. And then
there's no consequences if I'm looking at my phone while I drive. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. So, insurance is fixing it. It almost popped the windows. Yeah, the windows were popped out. Almost like those windows could have easily just landed on top of his car, both windshields, because he knocked him out that hard.
And this is like what, like
it's a motorhome,
like a C-Class.
Yeah, it's a full size pusher
B-class.
Or whatever. It's like
or a diesel pusher. Okay,
it's just like what's a gas, but it's just like Kevin Davis's.
Okay.
It's a full size whatever.
So
group that
it's
is.
Basically bus front glass.
Yeah. And those things would have fallen out and hit the guy's car.
Yeah, that would dent a roof for sure.
They were hanging out. Luckily, they said the only thing was like the end cap. They just have to cut the end cap off and put a new end cap on and put the windows in. So my dad got the insurance money, all that stuff, took it down to the facility that's going to be fixing it. Problem is, it's not going to be ready till next fall, and most RV repair stuff is like that. Takes forever.
Is it because they're working on other RVs?
Well, that too, but you got to order. Usually, they don't have backstock of fiberglass caps. You have to wait until they make a run of them, and so they'll
literally on a as needed basis.
Kind of, but they'll make like 500 of them or 1,000. And then they just let them sit until they get down, and then they put it on the list like, hey, in June we need to start laying some gel coat and build some end caps. So they basically said the good news is they make that end cap still.
That's good.
The bad news is it's going to be almost a year before we get it back, and so
probably not cheap either.
No, and so my dad was antsy. But one thing he had an idea when we were talking at the RV shows, he wants to have a local company who builds custom headlights, Trax. He wants to have them make him a custom set.
Trax stuff is awesome.
He wants to have make a custom. He was like, I don't know, it'll just be fun. Do some custom headlights and stuff.
Yeah, he does some wicked looking stuff.
Yeah, so he thought it'd be cool to go on the front of the motorhome, and he needs to put new headlights in it anyway. And
well, I mean, I give credit where credit's due, just to push the Trax thing. Trax, anybody who can make a Pontiac Solstice look cool, like he managed to really.
It's TRAX.
Yeah, you should look that guy up.
Look him up in it's like custom stuff. Lighting or custom auto lighting or something. But they're on Facebook.
Yeah,
check them out. They've got some neat stuff, and it's a local company. They've done a lot of stuff. A lot of SEMA vehicles have their headlights.
Yeah.
It's a dude in his garage.
Yeah,
and
but he knows what he's doing.
He does some good stuff. So he brought that up. He's like, I think I'm making. I was like, it's pretty rad because those motorhomes. Like usually they're just a random set of headlights from a car. So
it's always whatever was approved by the DOT.
Yeah, and sometimes it's they put Denali headlights or they'll put these headlights. F-150 headlights or.
It's always a fun game to figure out which car they came off of.
So that's what he was saying. He's like, I can just get a new set of those and then send them over. Or have him build me a custom set out of.
Oh yeah.
Because I know he knows what. I don't remember what the thing looks like, so I have to find out. But that was what he had brought up. So I thought that was pretty neat. So it'd be fun, and it's just funny my dad was talking. But my kids loved it. They loved running in and out of all the different motorhomes. So we had a good weekend, and then I assembled a dresser.
Ooh, okay.
Not
expected on a detailing show.
3.5 hours, my friends.
Ooh.
My wife had found one at a local furniture store, and it was
IKEA type deal. No,
it wasn't, but it was. It was a flat pack in that sense.
Okay.
But she found a dresser at a furniture store, and it was like $400.
Okay.
And she goes, This is the one I like, and we can order it, and they can deliver it, and you can then you're done. And I was like, and for us, I'm always looking at things like how much insulin will that buy? And so,
or I could build it,
yeah,
which is always,
right.
Depends on who's saying it. Maybe
so
that's
she
a good
found
thing,
the same
maybe
one
not.
on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
For like $150.
But what's your time worth?
Right. We go back to that. What's your time worth? Well, in my sense, I look at it as it's insulin time. It's how much money can I save that we can use towards insulin to keep our son alive. So,
well, that's definitely better than me, because I'd order something online that I have to build,
yeah, but
and
you don't
if I don't build it the day of, it's probably going to go sit in the unused bedroom and just not get built.
Yeah. Well,
for
so
who knows
the
how
box
long.
showed up. It was 132 pounds.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a serious dresser. Yeah.
So we had to carry it up our stairs, my wife and I.
Oh, no.
It was very long. She steered, and
wait, you guys work out, so you're fine.
Yeah, so I lifted it, and she just steered it, so it wasn't bad. But and then Saturday afternoon, after we got back from the RV show, she's like, "You gonna put it together?" I was like, "Yep." She goes, "You got the whole afternoon. Have at it." And I was like, piece of cake. And I was reading all the reviews. Guys
45 minutes.
Guys were saying it was going to take 6 hours. Really, nothing takes 6 hours to assemble. And so I brought my drills. I had all my tools. I was ready to go. It's like, all right, let's do this. 3.5 hours later, I was done with it.
Oh, man.
It looks amazing, but
and
it's a nice dresser. It was just like
it was a hard-fought battle.
It was mind-numbing, but I got an hour of full help from Augie.
Oh,
so
that's
my
nice.
3-year-old literally came and sat and helped me. And I showed him how to put all the little things into the holes and all that stuff. And I set one out and I said, it was like, here's a piece. And, we put one here, one here, one here, and one here. And I set it out and I was like, all right, here you go. And I put a pile on the thing. Yeah. And I had laid them all out and he just put them in and helped. And then like when we had to lay the drawer slides.
Yeah.
Sent him, put the screws in, and then I just held the drill, and he pulled the trigger. Done. And so it was a good little father-son bonding time. Yeah. My wife took my daughter, and they went to go do some shopping, and I hung out, and so it was good. So we had fun.
Well, good. But so time well spent.
Yeah,
then.
But I had sent Dane a video of stuff, and you were laughing that I should become a video blogger.
Oh, yeah.
Based on my day.
You're sending a lot of random, here we are in RVs. Here I am putting a drawer together, and then I did this. And then
who knows? Maybe I will. You never know.
The Levi vlog.
Yeah.
The Levi vlog.
Levi vlog.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. So it sounds like he actually did some stuff this weekend. Not too bad. I don't know what Anthony did. He's not here to tell us.
He did go to, I saw his Instagram. He did go to In-N-Out Burger.
Well, okay. That
so he is near an In-N-Out. So I
shunned.
Assume that would be near California.
Yeah. He's somewhere with better fast food.
Yeah. So you were talking about wanting to do a new podcast segment for all of us?
I was talking about, basically I had it set up. The idea was to create some podcast segments that we could regularly do so that we have something, familiar to kind of bring people back to, like Levi's Detail of the Day, or I had this series on our YouTube channel, Dane Explains. So I thought, well, I like to kind of delve into topics sometimes of things that either annoy me and I want to find a solution or something like that. So just makes sense. Why not do a segment called Dane Complains?
Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's kind of where I was going with it. But basically, maybe we could create like a little graphic and have it be like Dane Complains, and then we have Levi's Detail of the Day, and then we come up with something for Anthony. I haven't decided. Anthony's asinine comment of the day. I don't know, something.
Yeah, but it could work. I like the Dane Complains.
Something fun. It's got to have that alliteration. But, well, I'm not sure that's alliteration, but still.
That works. So what would be your first complaint?
Well, okay. So this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where you get it's a little bit of that where you offer something up, right? You say, for example, here's a sprayer. And then somebody goes, well, this sprayer can do that. And it's like, great, but this is what we're talking about here. So this is what we're offering. We're not saying other stuff doesn't exist. We're not saying it's better or worse or any of this other stuff. Maybe we're saying it's better because we've tested, back to back. We have enough experience with other sprayers to know there's definitely some are better than others. But it's one of those things where people, they can't stand seeing something just exist by itself. So their idea of a contribution is to try and knock you down a peg for,
Yeah, I could say that.
Little to no benefit.
Yeah.
Like, what does this really do? I understand if it's saving people a few bucks for the people who are more concerned about, I need the cheap option more than anything else. Okay, there's always going to be those folks that always seek out the cheap option. That's fine. But that's not why we're here. That's not what we exist to do, to offer people a cheap solution to stuff. We want to offer the best value solution for that. So the way we do that value, because everybody says value, but people have different ideas of what value means. To me, value means you offer the absolute best quality you can at a price that's still reasonable. So if you have to sacrifice and do a higher price on something in order to bring out what you think is a better option for people, okay, then you offer something. Maybe it's not the cheapest, but for what it does, the value it provides exceeds that of whatever is around it.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth something.
Yeah,
and
that makes
that's
sense.
that's something not everybody necessarily, gets right off the bat, because I understand it. There's people who just look and go, that's a dollar sign to me, and that means that, and instantly I'm turned off because this thing is more expensive than that thing, without looking to see why. And, there's usually some reason why. And when you look at, take, for example, Obsessed Garage, those guys definitely, they like a lot of things, but when you look at it, they definitely like some pricey stuff. I mean, like a Krensler pressure washer, that's no joke. That's serious stuff. But there are people who are willing to get that because that's what they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make anybody any better or any worse than anybody else.
Right.
And that's where I take issue with it. It's just people who have to turn everything into like an adversarial match.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's the big running thing that we always. So I'm a moderator on Obsessed Garage. And one of the jokes,
so you definitely see stuff.
Yeah. And so one of the jokes that we always have is the complaints of the buckets.
Right.
Matt's bucket package.
I've heard that a few
There's
times.
a few reasons that Matt's bucket package is so much more expensive than a traditional, like going to Home Depot and buying yourself a bucket.
Yeah.
Matt's buckets are extremely high quality.
And you're going to get those people that go, oh, sure, a nicer bucket. It's like a nicer bucket is a nicer bucket.
We tested buckets because in store we carry buckets.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. We
one thing
would
we
love
don't carry
to sell
online.
them online, but we don't. We have really nice buckets, but the fact of the matter is,
it's hard to ship.
They're too expensive to.
They're hard to
sell
ship
on the website, because if you tried shipping it, you have this great big item, but it doesn't weigh much and it's hollow.
Yeah.
So you gotta fill it with something to make the shipping worthwhile. Because otherwise somebody's gonna look at that and go, I'm not willing to pay to ship that bucket. And that's I don't blame you.
And that's one of the reasons Matt.
Yeah.
So Matt has a really high quality bucket.
Yeah.
Then on top, this is a full kit. It comes with the dollies. Mm-hmm. It comes with, so you get 3 buckets.
So it's comprehensive.
3 dollies.
Everything.
3 grit guards, 3 gamma seals, and it comes with the 3 decals that he makes. But all of those have to go in a box, and all of those need to be shipped. And if you were to go, I'm not going to pay $75 for shipping, I'll pay $25. Okay, well, it still costs $75 to ship.
Yeah, that burden of cost just gets shifted somewhere into the product.
So, and
which is something I have to explain every time we talk about the sprayers.
And there's MOQs.
Yeah.
So if you look at, like, Matt could probably get those buckets down cheaper if he bought 10,000 buckets.
Sure.
But he's not going to sell 10,000 buckets.
Realistically, that's not.
So let's say he buys 1,000. The price is going to be different. The price per bucket is going to be different. Yeah. So, and his are 6-gallon buckets. They're not 5-gallon buckets. They're 6-gallon buckets. So they hold more, which is, it's either way. His buckets are higher quality. He includes a lot with that for that bucket kit.
Yeah.
It includes a lot of stuff that if you tried to price everything out, price shop, I mean, go to other detail sites and buy those dollies.
Yeah.
He picks the better grit guard dollies with the larger wheels so that they roll easier.
Those listening, have you ever actually looked to see what bucket dollies cost
They're
on their
expensive.
own? Good luck finding a cheap set. They're all pretty
so you're
pricey.
Getting 3 dollies, 3 really high-end buckets, plus grit guards, plus gamma seals, plus all this. Plus you got to ship it to somebody.
And that's the part that gets because everybody wants free shipping.
Right.
If you offer free shipping, it doesn't matter if the ultimate thing costs more because people are just drawn to that free shipping label. And I don't like playing games. I don't like having to go that route. So we always try and be really transparent in how everything works. But the fact of the matter is, if you offered it at a lower price and then you had, here's the shipping fee, people would be outraged because the shipping fee seems like it's high.
Exactly.
But if you don't ship stuff every day, you probably don't realize what that stuff
and
costs.
For those of you that have ever had to send something back, or you mail it to a friend or a family, it's Christmas time and you're mailing packages to your family and you just think, I'm just going to put it all in one box, send it all to my mom's, you go over there and it's $50 to ship it one state over at the UPS store or FedEx. And you're like, I didn't know it was this expensive. I can get things for $2. Well, when you're buying into Prime, you're paying $100 a month or $100 a year.
Yeah.
And 100,000 people pay into that, or 1 million people, however many subscribers. And you got to figure
there's at least a few people with accounts who never actually use their account.
Exactly.
So that more than makes up for the when you're dealing in volume solves a lot of problems.
So there's people that buy a ton of stuff and they get the benefit of the Prime 2-day shipping.
Oh, yeah.
There are other people who literally they buy one or two things. They get the benefit of that, but that benefit subsidizes the other person that utilizes all of it. And so that's what we are. We ship a lot of stuff. We're in 50 countries around the around the world, and we ship every day.
And that's the thing. We started from a garage and built our way up to this point.
You guys were using Stamps.com.
It's taken a little while. Yeah, I was using Stamps.com in the garage. I was the employee in there, and then I got a little extra help finally, and we started packing things. But that was how it was done. It was just literally walk this package over. Somebody ordered something, put it on the scale, weigh it. And I will say our prices, when we start getting shipping, are a little better now that we're moving more.
Now we ship more, but we ship more.
But,
and it's
in
just
the past,
basics of economics. When Matt's getting his shipping dialed in.
It should be common sense.
Because he's starting to sell more.
Yeah.
So the more he's selling, the better the shipping is. It becomes a saving to him. So he's able to lower the cost of shipping and pass it on to his customers, just like we were. Yeah. We're now so much bigger that that's why we have our free shipping above a certain amount. You spend $49, you get free shipping. You buy, these certain products, we have a flat rate.
Yeah. But it's like insurance. When you're talking about insurance, some people have difficulty with the concept of, some things pay for other people's things. It's just the way it ends up working. So, the healthy people end up paying for the sick people, and or the car insurance, something like that. You get the same deal. The people who crash and the people who don't crash, you're still paying your insurance premium one way or another, but hopefully it comes to back you up when the time comes.
Yeah.
Or if the time comes. I shouldn't say when. I don't want anybody having it happen to it. But free shipping works the same way. The product cost has to come and go from somewhere.
And they did say Prime is going to raise their price by 18% this year.
Okay.
But not on customers who pay in advance.
Oh, right.
Only month to month.
Right. And that makes sense because you're going to get those people who aren't willing to fully commit to a year, so they do the month-to-month thing, and that's fine. But
it gives people an incentive to pay for the whole year and not have to worry.
And that's what all that stuff works out to is, it's a bit of manipulation, but it's incentivizing people to go a certain route. And if they choose not to go that way, okay, fine, but it's going to cost more because the stuff ain't cheap. So you got to make it work somehow.
And that's one of the things like in Obsessed that Matt has done. He's always touted that this is, I've already done the research.
Yeah.
I've figured this out.
That's his big selling point is,
this is the
I've been there,
ultimate solution.
Checked all this stuff. This is what you want. If you're like me, this is what you want.
Yep. And that's it.
Simple as that.
You come in and you buy
I identify with Matt. I want what he's offering.
Yeah.
Done.
But it
he offers
ticks
solutions.
all those and it ticks all those boxes for those customers.
Oh yeah.
And so no, it is key. Price is always the hardest thing when you're fighting against somebody because they don't understand.
No.
We get it all the time. There's still customers that write and go, "What's the difference between that sprayer and a $5 sprayer?" Well, we've touted it. Watch the video, and you can
explain the
answer all the questions for you.
If that doesn't work for you, then it's not for you, and that's okay. But you don't have to act like it's a personal affront.
Right? Yeah, it is pretty funny.
It's not an attack. It's just Here's an offering. Here's a solution. Oh, how dare you? I can do the same thing with a cheap thing. Yes, you can.
And we're not selling something crazy expensive.
Well, that was what was funny was on Reddit. I had, the usual challenges, seeing that stuff. And, in case anybody hasn't figured it out yet, yes, I'm user The Rag Company on Reddit. So you can blame me if you don't like something that you read. But I was trying to be very mindful because I never want to come across as spammy or shilly on there. And I just told those guys, I was like, hey, I'm offering up this video because I'm sure at least a few of you have bought these things and probably have questions. I want to offer this up so people can see it, the IK sprayer video, so that they can get some solutions. Yeah, okay. Oh, whoa. Big bad company coming in offering up a video that may incentivize people to want to go buy one too. That's a side benefit, but at the same time, this is there for the people who have questions, and I can't always be there to answer everything, but I try and be available. And of course, then comes the whole cabal of people going, well, I can get this for cheaper over here, or this, that, and the other thing. I was like, well, there's reasons for why we have to do things the way we do them, and when it comes down to it, say like, shipping cost or something like that, We're a towel company first and foremost, and we're not going to do anything that compromises our ability to provide the best microfiber towels we can provide. So we try and make everything in our shipping models and all that stuff, try and make it fit into what the towels work best at. So if our towels ship best a certain way, that's the way we got to do everything. And anything else that comes in there, if it becomes bulky or difficult to ship, as the sprayers most certainly do, you wouldn't think it. You're like, oh, the sprayers, the 1.5s, they're fairly small. It should be like doing the other stuff. No, it's not, because it's a hard object. You can't morph it into a bag the way you
we're
could
able
with the
to.
other
We
stuff.
Jokingly refer to them as footballs, but there are sometimes those of you that get a sack.
So a 1.5 even
the
can be
postal sack.
tricky to ship without, some. If you've never heard the term dim weight, it doesn't matter how heavy something is to ship. If it's a certain size, you can't get around that. They're going to charge you a certain rate.
Yep.
So having a light object that happens to be huge or larger than what you would normally expect,
we also
that
can't
causes
cut
issues.
the box open and then stuff it full of towels.
No, because
and then put it back and then just send you the box.
I think somebody would complain.
So
we
get complaints about it. They'd be like, "What the heck? You guys open it up?"
We try and send it to you
with
unfettered. That's the way it is. It comes to us in the box. It goes to you in the box.
Right.
And that's
exactly
how it should be.
Yep.
But
it is funny though, the stuff
it's a challenge. It really
that
is.
we get.
And you just have to accept the fact that, and I do, but I'm going to complain about it because this is Dane Complains, that, people are going to take issue with that from time to time. And that's okay. But I hope at least we're not trying to explain away or rationalize it to condescend or anything like that. It's just them's the facts.
Yep.
That's how it works. And if you don't like that, there are options out there.
There you go.
But this is what we have to offer.
That's Dane Complains with the Rag Company.
All right, look out. Next time I'm coming for you. Okay.
Then we just need some sound effects.
Yeah. Oh, God, the fwa. Oh, man. Well, how about a little detail talk? 'Cause this is a detailing program.
Hot detail talk.
Yeah, so Levi's detail tip of the day.
Yeah, so...
Or detail of the day. I shouldn't say tip. It's just detail of the day.
Okay. Last week we talked a little bit more in depth about coatings.
Right. Yep.
Today I went downstairs and I wet sanded. We have a hood. It's from a mini truck that we found across the parking lot.
Yeah.
And it's exactly Rag Company blue, which is really crazy that we found it.
It's unusual that you find that.
Yeah. Like we should go find the rest of the part, go across and see if that truck's still there and get like the doors and the tailgate.
It's not really a factory color. Like Porsche Miami blue might come a little close, but other than that, I don't know anything else.
So this was a Mazda pickup, little Mazda B2200 that was turned into a mini truck and custom painted.
Oh, yes.
So it's got a ton of clear on it.
Yeah.
It does have some orange peel. And it's not all that bad.
It's got some
pretty
orange
peel.
Yeah.
But it's got a ton of clear on it.
So it's great for working on it.
Perfect, because we can still work on it and not have any issues. So I wet sanded half the hood with 3000 grit. I still need to do some proper wet sanding to get it flatter.
Sure.
And get that orange peel out. But for this purpose, I was testing some products that we got that we're looking into. And for me, I used the products. I did a 3-step and utilizing the Rupes 21 and the HDO series of pads and the Lake Country microfiber cutting pad. And basically, I did a 3-step process.
Okay, yeah.
And the goal was to see the most effective and easiest way to get out those 3,000 grit sanding scratches for customers and bring it up to a level where you could coat it.
Right.
Because I am going to be testing some coatings on them too. And so I wanted to just mess with the products. Now, I did a 3-step with 3 different products.
Yep.
But
they were from like a system, right?
Yeah, it was a compound, a polish, and then a finishing polish.
Because one quick note I just wanted to throw out there for people who think that we're Optimum only or something like that.
We're not.
We're open to stuff.
Yeah.
So we're absolutely willing to try products. If you send them to us, we'll give them a shot. But that's the thing is we actually want to test this stuff. We're not just going to take somebody's word for it necessarily.
Yeah.
We're actually going to put it to the test and compare it side by side with stuff we already carry to find out if that's really, something that's worth carrying. And, whether you carry it or not, it's not necessarily that it's good or bad, but it has to fit the overall scope of the lineup.
Right.
What makes sense. You don't want to have a bunch of redundancies.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what we're looking at. It's a product line that we want to bring on, and we want to bring on a couple different parts and pieces of it. But I want to know if there's anything I'm missing.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but from a detailing standpoint, let's say you're in your shop and you're working.
Yeah.
I bring in these 3 products, and I tell you this is how you use them. 1, 2, 3, and use these 3 pads with them, and this is what you can do with it.
Yeah.
That's fine, and it did great. The results came out. It looks awesome.
It did. Looks good.
But if I'm in a shop, my ultimate goal is to save money, right? Yeah. And make money. So if I'm going to do 3 steps, I can do 3 steps with any type of product and compound. I can do it with any system. I can do it with the Optimum system. Even I can do hyper compound, intensive polish, and hyper polish, and do a 3-step if I want. But there's benefits. The hyper compound system, you can use hyper compound and hyper polish, and 2-step it, and get the same result as a traditional 3-step. Right? That's the theory.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Yeah. So automatically, the Optimum line saves you time and money by only having to use 2 steps. These 3 steps, I did have to remove between each step.
Right.
Remove the compound off the surface. Optimum, I don't have to remove it. I can go straight into the polished level, and I don't have to worry.
And time is money.
Right.
Once again.
Right. So this other product is one that we carry, which is the Last Cut by Jace Price.
Yep.
And I wanted to test that because Jace has said it can be everything. It can be an all-in-one. It can do all kinds of stuff.
And this hood is a bear. Like
so
when you're working on it,
it's hard. It's hard clear coat. And so so I thought, okay, I did this really great system, 3 steps, 3 different products, came out flawless, looks really good. Then good. I used the exact same pads. So the Lake Country microfiber, the orange Lake Country HDO, and the orange Lake Country or black Lake Country polishing pad.
Right.
I used those same 3 pads for both processes. Only this time, on the next section of the hood, I only used the Last Cut.
Yeah.
So now I'm using 1 product to do all 3 steps.
Right. And
we got to about 90%.
Yeah.
If I spent maybe just about 5 minutes more in that 2 foot by 2 foot section.
I was going to say, if anything, you spent maybe 3/4, even half the time using the Last Cut.
I did. I timed myself. I did about 15, 16 minutes with the other products, about 5 minutes a step. And then with the Last Cut, I did about 7.5 minutes.
And you still achieved that 90% result in that fraction of a time frame. Yeah.
So right off the bat, as a detailer or a shop owner or manager, you look at that and go, oh, hold on a second. I was able to get almost the exact same level of quality. I could technically spend a little more time, but I only had to use 1 product.
Yeah.
And
yes, that product does cost more, but look how much you got done in a shorter amount of time.
And I think I used less of the product too, because one of the neat things about the Last Cut is you can use O&R to, it's got a long working time.
As I say, the working time.
The other stuff, the working time was a little shorter. Specifically on the compound, I felt it start grabbing and start, not continuing. But with the Last Cut, you can. And if you need to increase that working time, you just give a little spritz of O&R and you can bring it right back. So that was really nice. So for me, I look at, there are 100 of awesome products out on the market today. Awesome stuff. And this isn't a sales point on why the last cut you should buy it or why you should buy Optimum.
We just wanted to use it because we knew it was good.
Yeah, what this is for those of you that have shops that have that stuff, I know lots of guys that use that system and they swear by it and love it. And that's fine. It works for them. Maybe they've optimized it to where they're faster and better with it, and they can do 3 steps. Or maybe they figured out a way to do a 1-step.
Yeah, in fairness, you're using it
I'm
right
still
out
learning
of the box.
I'm literally still learning how to use that. But on my end, I can also know that I could use that last cut for everything and not have any issues.
It just takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Right. Makes it a little simpler. So for those of you that maybe are trying to train employees, there's the old lineage, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely
this makes it very simple. You literally give it to your employees and go, this is the only product you're going to use. And these are the pads based on what, you could break it down and give your employees a standard operating procedure. Basically, if it's a 1-step, this is the pad you're going to use and here's the product.
That way they only have to think about the pads.
These are the 2 pads you're going to use and the product. And if it's the big dog and we're doing 3 steps on it, these are the 3 pads you're going to do. And this is how we're going to get it done.
But it's still the same product.
But it's still the same product, so there's no room for error. There's no room for mistakes. There's no room for product loss. And it'll save you time in the long run.
Because the more variables he introduced, the more margin for error.
Right. And we did that with Optimum stuff in my shop. I told my guys, here's the products. And we used Hyper Polish a lot of the time for that reason. We just changed, here's the 2 pads you use. Here's a 1-step, here's a 2-step, and here's a 3-step. And it saves you time and money in the long run.
Yeah.
Results-wise, like we said, we got about a 90%, and this is with all our studio lights on as well as a Scangrip.
Yeah, you were watching
large
like
light
a hawk
on there,
with that
and I had a
Scangrip.
Scangrip headlamp on.
Same one from that Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, and I was watching and I was moving back and forth over the panel, making sure. Dane came down and looked at it, and your dad came and looked at it, and it was, and
Dane,
then
he felt it to make sure that it really was.
And Dane's not a detailer, but I can show you the difference. And I was like, can you see a difference between these 2 panels? And as a typical customer, if you're like, yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah.
Then why do I need to break my back?
Yeah, I mean,
and do this if
I may
you're
not
happy
be a
with this
detailer,
level.
but I do have a very critical eye. So if I see something that jumps
you've
out
seen
at me,
stuff now that you never thought you'd be seeing.
No, like when I started this gig, I didn't know the first thing about detailing, but I've learned a lot in my time being here. And as far as actual, knowledge of detailing, there's definitely stuff that you only learn from having used it with your own hands and doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I've done a little of that, but just in terms of general knowledge and what you're looking for and, defects and stuff like that, rids, all that business, I could spot that stuff, no problem, because once you've seen it, it's hard not to see.
Right.
So in this case, I mean, the only thing that jumped out at me was just the difference in the level of orange peel, and that had nothing to do with the products that you were doing, because you would have to get...
I still would have to wet sand it to get it flat enough.
And that was all about the hood.
And this was I literally did 2 2-foot sections, and I wet sanded half the hood.
Yeah.
So,
but in terms of clarity, I mean, they were neck
they're pretty close, pretty close.
And considering you spent almost half the time with one and only using one product, that was impressive to see. Yeah.
So, and like we said, I could keep going. I could keep working that panel. I could do a little more. I could spend.
Yeah, it was far from done
minutes.
when you did call it. I mean,
but I want to know. I want to look at it and go, if I, don't take hardly any time and I 3-step it, can I even get close to that? And I got pretty freaking close.
Oh yeah.
It just says a lot.
Well, and this is another case, something that I find in our videos. Either people love it or hate it, but you're working for your customer. You're not necessarily working for yourself. When you're doing pro detailing, the customer expects a certain level. You work to that level. You can exceed their expectations, but if it's going to cost you a bunch more time or money, is that really worth it? Not necessarily. So finding ways you can increase efficiency just makes sense. I mean, and if you can produce the result that wows your customer, that's good. And I know people scream, good enough, what is this? Well, it's like, well, you have to be realistic, though.
Well, the world-famous Jose Fernandez of Superior Shine, he's got a scale that he does, and he calls it the 1 through 10. Mm-hmm. Now, a 1, he's not touching that car, period. There's no paint on that car, right? There's nothing there that can
because it's a DeLorean.
Yeah, there's nothing that can be done. He cannot physically polish at a 1, right? And if you think of quality of cars. So most of our average daily drivers are anywhere from a 4 to a 7.
Yeah.
So you do a 1-step on a 4, you bring it up to a 7. If you get a 7 and you do a 1-step, you bring it to an 8. If you do a 2-step, you bring it up to maybe a 9 or 9.5. But what he says is you will never achieve a 10. There's no way.
You'll drive yourself insane.
There's no way, because if you notice on our hood, there were some gouges that were still in the clear that
you couldn't
are just
achieve
over
the 10.
time. It was just over time.
Because you'd run out of paint before you could achieve
I would
that
have
10.
to get into those to try and get them farther down. I'd have to do some stuff. I'd have to focus more time on that to even hit that 10. And what he says is an 8 is probably the best that any normal person can see.
And short of
most of your customers are only ever looking for an 8, and that's all they're ever going to pay for.
Yeah, well,
they will
short
never
of
pay for a 10.
Concours car or a museum piece. There's no point in taking it to that extent because you're ruining it for the. I mean, inevitably, if this is going to get used on a daily basis, or even if it's just a weekend track toy or something, it's going to get beat up. That paint's going to get swirls again.
Well, and even
if
Jose,
they try, even the person knows how to clean their car and all that stuff. It'll happen just from
driving. And Jose is a phenomenal detailer and has some really high-end clients.
Yeah.
But he says even the millionaires, when he services their Lamborghinis and Ferraris and he polishes them and he comes and waxes them every week and does this, I mean, he's like, I have them flawless. He goes, I'll have them perfect. Mm-hmm. He goes, they're not at a 10 because the customer's going to get in, they're going to brush their foot along the lower panel and they're going to scratch it. Or their girlfriend or wife is going to get in, the purse is going to hit it, it's going to scratch it. He goes, so they're never at a 10 and they can never stay legitimately at a 10.
Right.
Now, concourse level cars, yes, but we're talking $1 million car.
You're cleaning it like the day of, and it'll look good that day. But whatever happens after that, there's all kinds of opportunities for it to.
And you're going to charge. Scott Nichols is going to have distinctive detail, is going to charge to get that concourse level finish.
Well,
and he's going to have the car for a month.
Yeah.
And he's going to be working on just that car, sometimes 6 weeks, but the car's $1 million, $2 million, $3 million car.
Yeah.
And, it's a Ferrari 256 GT.
$3 million, that's on the low end for some of these things.
But he's working on a car, and we don't know what the job is. Maybe it's $25,000,
Yeah.
And that's what he's expecting.
When you're watching some of these YouTube videos, it's like they're not going to tell you how much the client was, charged for this stuff. In a lot of cases, that's their bit. If they want to share that, that's fine. Yeah. But looking at this stuff, it can.
The hard part is
it's like a good paint job. It probably costs a lot more than you thought.
Yeah. Well, and the hard part is there are detailers that, yes, you want to try and make it the best for your customer, and that's fine. You guys can do that. Yeah. I'm not saying
don't cut corners and cheap out. And
what
all
I'm
that
saying
stuff.
is what I always tried to recommend and what I always tried to do for my customers was I guarantee you I will give you the best quality correction for the price.
Right.
So if you want to do it, if you only have $300 and this is what we're going to do to your car, we're going to do a 1-step on it.
Yeah.
By all means. Like, we will make it the best 1-step that you have ever seen, and you will be very satisfied with the $300 you spent. I will never give you a car back to where you're going like, I should have spent that extra $100.
Like
I'm never going to say that. I'm never going to make you feel that way. And what I'm going to do is get it so good that you're going to look at it and go, so you made it that nice. If I paid the extra $500, $600, $700, $800, what can you do?
Oh, buddy.
Well, pay me and we'll see what we can do. But I want them to be so excited. I mean, I had people that had paid for an interior and we'd just wash it. Yeah. We wouldn't do anything else. We'd wash it and wipe it down with instant detailer. And they'd come and go, oh my gosh, look how beautiful the car looks.
Yeah. And
they're happy.
We're kind of dancing around the subject, but something everybody should Google the term. I mean, I know a lot of people already know it, but diminishing returns.
Yeah.
That's a very important concept.
It goes back
for
to
people
knowing
to
your
understand.
customers. So I look at it as we know our customers. I'm not going to sell 3 more products to our customers when we already have one product that we've already got the optimum lineup. You want to 3-step it with 3 different optimum products? Here you go. If you want to 2-step it with 2 optimum products, here you go. Or we also are offering Last Cut that can do a lot.
It's kind of the catch-all.
Buy the Optimum products, use them, and then for those specific paints that you have that are super hard, super soft, pull out the last cut and use it.
Where you're just really irritated and you don't want to take the time to figure out what...
It's a flawless system, and it goes back to us,
sound.
very similar to Obsessed. We are selling you a solution to a problem. Our goal is to say, buy these 3 products or 4 products and you're good. Not, well, if those 4 didn't work, here's 3 more. Try those.
And
try these. Here's some more.
That sucks because you're just kind of like, maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah,
it's like,
no, we're going to try them. We're going to use them. We're going to test them.
I don't know everybody's specific situation. I always make a point when I'm talking to somebody on the phone. I tell them, now, just so you're aware, I'm not going to try and sell you anything that you don't need.
Right.
If you end up buying something, it's because you either needed it or you wanted it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to steer you the direction I think makes the most sense based on what you're telling me.
Right.
So that's all I can do. But I know we have good solutions for people based on certain criteria, and I try and steer in that direction. It also means we end up having 150 plus different kinds of microfiber, which drives some people crazy. But that's because there are so many different personal preferences, so many variables.
At one point, I was polishing off the last cut. I tried a 600. It didn't work.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing. It was like
too sticky.
The 600 is not a bad towel.
No.
The 600 is an amazing towel, but for that particular situation, didn't make sense. You know what made sense? The Creature. And somebody looking like, but the Creature is so much cheaper than the Eagle 600. It's like, yeah, but you know what? In that specific situation, it made the most sense.
Yeah.
And
what else works?
What
365.
So
they work fine too.
Yeah. But people get upset because they just like, I want the I don't want to have to think about it. I just want,
Now, in other situations, excuse me, the Creature works great. I used the Creature to remove the polish of the other product. Yeah. And it worked just fine. Mm-hmm. Or I used the Eagle 600 for that, and it worked out just fine. It was smooth, it was soft,
glided,
had no problem over it. So it also just depends on the product and what towel works the best. This is the new Everest 550.
Oh, I didn't know. I just wanted to throw it out there, see if anybody noticed. Like, this is coming soon. This is not an Everest you're familiar with.
Yeah, it's coming soon. But there's same reasons for it as well. But it's just that we're doing our due diligence. It just goes back to us trying to provide the best solutions for our customers.
Yeah.
Brushes. We like the brushes that we carry because they're comfortable and they do the job.
Right.
We like the pads that we carry because they work the best based on whatever tool you're using, whether you're using a 3401 flex, a rotary, or you're using the Rupes long throw system, or you're using the Porter cable.
Point is, we don't just carry stuff to carry stuff. We actually bother to pick things that we would use in our own given scenarios.
Or products that I've used in the past that I really enjoy using.
Just like the VLB.
That was one I've been using for the last 4 years and couldn't believe that nobody had seemed to hear about it in the last year. And we've sold a ton this year of those.
And
it was a staple in my shop.
It's not a magic eraser. Some people think it's like the same. It's not.
It's not at all.
You use it behaves differently.
Yeah, and I used that at a Simonize rep that showed up in my shop. And, he wanted to show me his products, and I said, that's fine. You can show me.
Yeah.
And he probably spent about an hour and a half cleaning half of a seat, and then came by and showed me and was like, all right, what do you think? And I was like, wow, that was a long time to get just one square section. Ooh. And he's like, well, this is how this is how good our products work and this. And it's not a knock on Simonize. It's mostly just a knock on the salesman that showed up that was trying to do this for me.
There's effective sales tactics and less effective sales tactics.
And I walked out with the I did walk out with a VLB and some O&R, and I literally did just like in our video. Yeah. Sprayed the other side with O&R, took the VLB, and just did a light scrub.
You watched that video. You see how quick it was.
Not even 5 minutes on the panel, and then dried it, and it was exactly the same as this guy's section.
I love that video because when you're looking at it, you see before you pull the tape off, you're like, it doesn't look that different. You're like, oh man, this is going to be a disappointment. Then you pull the tape up, it's like, well, hold on, what?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But it was the same on that. And that guy was like, "Where'd you get that?" Yeah. And he's like, "Is that just water?" And I was like, "No, it's Optimum no rinse." And he was like, he was a little confused.
You're selling the salesman.
He had two or three of Simonize's products that he was using on it, and it blew his mind. And then he's like, I gotta get that brush. And those are the things that we try and help you guys
with. Certain
those
things
are the things
just click with certain people.
Right. And it goes back to all we're trying to do is educate our customers.
Yeah.
That's our goal, period.
Yeah, if you watch our stuff, you gain some insight from it, and you don't end up buying anything that we're selling, that's okay. We hope you at least reference us as a place that you learned some things if somebody asks.
Yeah,
and
or now you have the
fine.
knowledge to go do that shopping on your own.
But the thing is, now when you actually go out and you try some stuff, you may go, well, okay, now I know how this behaves. Let me try it against what the red company says their stuff does. And then you try it and you either end up going, wow, that really is as good as it is touted to be, or it's just really... I don't know. I don't ever want people to feel like, they got a gun to their head or anything like that.
Exactly.
Like, it's not. There's some places that give off that impression, and I think tying back into my whole complaint segment, where people will get like preemptively strike with like an attack of like, oh, you mentioned something. It's suddenly it has to be battled. It's an adversary. It has to. I have to challenge that. It's like, well, no, or like I have to turn down the hype, oh, hype bothers me. I don't want people being excited about this. Ew.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Or that one
or you
YouTuber
could let
that,
people get
that
excited
likes
about
to,
something. That's okay too, but
yeah. Or there's the YouTuber who he does his, but now to his point, he is trying to help people save money
and that's
and
the
do
thing
it more
is,
efficiently
I watch
and quicker.
his stuff. I actually I like a lot of his
I
stuff.
enjoy too, but at the same time, I also see it as like that weird, like I'm trying to take the hype out of everything, which is fine. But you don't
like
have
Operation Buzzkill.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's like or Debbie Downer.
And I don't want to dig because like I do enjoy.
I do too.
A fair amount of his stuff. Like there's definitely some good things, and I know I've heard us referenced on there before. That happens from time to time. And sorry if we try and get people excited about things. We get excited about stuff.
Well,
so
and it's
if you're watching, sorry, we're saying hi. We actually like you, but no, it's. I don't know. It's little things that get under your skin, and then you realize, like, why does that bother me?
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, that's petty and unreasonable, and I don't really need to worry about that. And that's okay. But, being willing to, look inward and see, okay, I don't have to constantly treat everything like a battle can really help. And then you can actually end up helping people.
So, for those of you that aren't wanting to battle us, come see us at Mobile Tech.
And if you want to battle us, meet us in the parking lot. Yeah. Anchorman style.
Yeah. But yeah, so again, guys, we are going to be headed out to Mobile Tech this week. We're going to fly out on Wednesday. We'll be in Orlando. So come see us at the Caribe Royale.
Yep.
I think it's like $60 to buy a badge.
Yep.
It gets you the whole weekend covered. So Friday, the education day, which it's one of the best things about Mobile Tech is you can literally, you spend Friday 5 hours, or there's 8 hours of the day and 5 classes per hour.
And this is very different from SEMA. This is all about detailing body work. It's very concentrated on the industry. So a lot of the people that you're like, I went to SEMA and I couldn't find this guy I was looking for. Chances are if you go to Mobile Tech, you're going to run into that person. You may actually have time to have a real conversation.
Well, like we
not
were,
just like hi.
Well, like David Patterson, Lake Country didn't have a booth at SEMA, and David was just bouncing around a bunch of different booths and saying hi to people. This year, Mobile Tech, he's got a booth.
Yep.
And it's right across from ours. So you'll be able to come say hi to us, go say hi to him.
Twofer.
Lev Trechikov of Four-to-Door Steamers is going to be right next door to us. So we'll get to play with the Four-to-Door Steamers.
That's fun.
So Lake Country will be there. Mother's is going to be directly next to Lake. They usually share a booth.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have them. Buff and Shine is going to be directly behind us. Our buddies at Zenware are going to be there. Rupes and Optimum is going to be there. Auto Geek's going to be there.
It's a fun crowd.
I believe PNS
you got a lot of your
favorite
favorite characters there. So.
PNS will have a booth there.
Yeah.
Grios had a booth last year, but nobody ever showed up.
They're not doing it this year?
I don't know. I'll have to look harder and see.
Wait, so they had a booth, but no one was
They had a
actually in
booth,
it?
and nobody worked it.
What? Okay.
It was very strange. It was very strange. Malco
I
had
like
a
their
booth.
branding. Their branding looks good.
Yeah, Malco had a booth last year. I think they have another one this year. It's nice because if you go on the mobiletechexpo.com, you can see the floor plan. You can see where all the booths are. You can see who's attending, who's not going to be there. You also get a class schedule, so you can see what classes are being taught and
Maybe
by who.
even one taught by this guy.
Yeah, I'll be teaching a class with the help of Dane, Anthony, and Jeff.
How'd I get wrangled into this?
You'll be holding a camera.
Oh, okay, that's right.
But we're going to be talking about microfiber and teaching people who Maybe you don't know the ins and outs of microfiber. Maybe you don't know why they're good. Maybe you don't know anything about us.
I think a lot of people that watched your Porsche wash clinic actually learn more about microfiber in that first 45 minutes.
Probably. But that's basically what we're going to do is teach again on why premium microfiber is so good.
And if you're there, you can ask questions and you can be as specific as you want. And I mean,
maybe you want to talk to Yvonne and you want to find out everything about the magic of O&R and being efficient and doing all that. He's teaching a class on it. You can be there. If you're in the IDA and you've got a CD, you're certified detailer already, and you need skills validation, you can do that at Mobile Tech.
They do the training.
They do skills validation there, and you get skills validated by some pretty top-notch guys in the industry.
You don't get that opportunity very often.
It's pretty cool. So myself, Mike Phillips, Jason Rose, a bunch of those guys are going to be Keith Duplessis. A lot of those guys are going to be doing the skills validation tests. Cool. I think Kevin Corvo AWalt did it last year, and a couple other guys were the ones doing the skills validations
that's great.
For other detailers. So kind of a fun chance, to get to take your SV, kind of show what you can do, show that you've got the
you got what it takes.
But it also helps your business in the sense that you can now tout. I'm the only certified detailer through the International Detailing Association in my area, and then hey, look at that. There's 5 guys that have CDs, and I'm the only guy with an SV. I'm the next level, skills validation.
Because it's not just a piece of paper. It's what it represents.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it's really good to have that validation because it gives you credentials.
Yeah, but you can see there's going to be lots of people there. You can hang out. It's nice because it is so intimate. That's one of the neat things about it.
Yeah, if you look at the floor plan, it's not particularly big.
It's held in a hotel.
Even the big companies are in booths that are quite
10 by 10, 10 by 20s. We're all in small. There's no real huge booths.
But the nice part is it means you don't have to walk a mile to see one thing you like.
No, but
and then go 2 miles the other way to see the other thing.
Yeah, but it's also the hangout. It's the get to know everybody, get to see everybody.
When you're all that close together, you all wind up talking with each other sooner or later. And I think that's something that always catches people by surprise who are maybe newer to the industry or something. They don't realize most of these guys are friends. Like, just because you're at a different company doesn't mean you two are, having parking lot knife fights, as we suggested earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun, and we had a good time while we were there last year. I'm really excited to look forward to this year because we got a lot that we're going to be doing. We're going to be hosting a podcast for the IDA as well. We're going to have a round table with a bunch of big-name greats in the industry.
That'll be cool.
That'll be fun. And then
please go easy on me. I'm running the thing.
But then so that's really exciting. And then, again, like I said, so the show should be a blast. It's Saturday and Sunday. Friday is Education Day, so lots of class. So we'll be able to go take classes from other guys and then teach our class I think ours is at 1 o'clock or 1:30, right after lunch. And then we can go hit out some other classes if we want and check them out. So that's a lot of fun, and that's one of the things I look forward to. And again, it's all about education. It's all about growing. It's helping you grow in the industry. It's giving you a chance to grow. For some of us, when we're detailing cars, you sometimes think that's the only spot, that there is no ladder.
It's the end all be all.
Yeah,
that's all there is.
I just clean cars. That's it.
Well, I cleaned that car. Cool. I guess the next step is the next car.
Right.
All right.
And when you're on your hands and knees digging for French fries out of a minivan, it does seem a little monotonous. And that's one of the things I love about the IDA was that we were able to, you do that, and once every 3 months they do a webinar. So you hook up and you plug in, you turn on your phone, and you do a webinar with a bunch of other detailers. And it's hosted by one detailer, from the industry. Someone decides to host it. So maybe it's on polishing, maybe it's on foam, maybe it's on social media, maybe it's on selling coatings, maybe it's on, but you learn and you get to make these connections with these guys.
There's a whole community out there that you can either choose to be a part of or not, but it definitely benefits you if you choose to become a part of it. So,
well, and the more that you get involved, and then, at the same time, this is how you learn about new paint. This is how you learn about new types of clear. This is how you learn about new types of fabrics that are going in cars. This is how you our goal with our association is to be the forefront and in that and help those below us, help those detailers that are with us in this to understand and have the ability to make more money, make their shop a little more
too many people
better.
Go, no, I don't want to make more money. Ugh.
Yeah. So, But there are a lot of old school detailers that are like, no, I got School of Hard Knocks. I'm already educated.
I've taken my, beatings.
That's fine, but what's wrong? What's wrong with not doing that? Like, or what's going to hurt if you do it?
I find a lot of those guys, once they're confronted with, well, here's how you could do it. You don't have to, but here's a solution. Then they go, oh, that is easier.
Well, like
I've been wasting my time. Oh, what have I done?
Yeah, well, like in Idaho, there was only a couple of us that were IDA certified to start.
Yeah.
Now there's probably 7 or 8 detailers in the state that have IDA certifications.
Yeah.
So now when a customer goes to start price shopping,
you're
a detailer. That's one thing you can tout. Well, I'm also IDA certified. And here's the link on my website. Here's all this stuff. And they can start looking and going like, oh, and they call the next detailer. Are you IDA certified?
Because there's a lot of Craigslist businesses out there. But if
it
you
sets
can
you apart,
set you apart, legitimize yourself, really have some kind of
standards applied. You have a code of ethics that you roll by, that you do work by.
Let's
be honest, that you're trusted.
There's some professions where a code of ethics really brings people some ease, because otherwise they're like, oh, here I go. And people have their guard up going to certain kinds of businesses, whether it's a used car dealership or a detailer or something like that. People kind of go, okay, I can't get screwed. I got to make sure I don't get screwed. And they go in with that mindset. Part of the
Better Business Bureau.
If you offer this stuff right up front and you're like, well, here are my credentials. Here's what I have to prove that I'm going to treat you right. Then someone can kind of calm down a little bit and actually be all right with it.
Well, and in some states there are no regulations for anything. And what I found that was crazy was, like, in Idaho, I've got a lot of tattoos. Yeah. And in Idaho, there is no governing board for tattoos state level. Right? So guys don't have to have any certifications for cleanliness or anything.
I was going to say, I use this needle, 5 people, but 6 will be good.
Right. Now there's like an American Tattooers Association that creates its own level of cleanliness and certifications.
Yeah.
And there were tattoo artists that were working on that, and they were trying to get it pushed into law.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of crappy shops that were like, I don't need that, whatever.
Well, you're going to get pushback from those because they don't want to have to work.
They don't want to work to be clean. Yeah. They don't want to work to be up to code, so to speak.
And that should be a clue right there. Oh, I don't want to go to that shop.
But barbers and hairstylists have to have a certain level of cleanliness to cut hair.
I would put tattoo artists in the same groups as
I know you don't.
Barbers and stuff like that.
Another crazy thing.
If anything, you have more chance of seeing blood in a tattoo shop than you do in a barber shop. So why did they have to meet these standards, but the tattooists don't?
Exactly. The other thing is, in this state, in Idaho, you don't have to be certified to do home inspections.
That's concerning.
So for those of you that have bought houses and had to do a home inspection, that's kind of key in whether or not you buy the house and you get a loan, right?
I did that 2 years ago when I refied my house. Now I'm wondering about that guy. He seemed all right, but...
but I've seen home inspectors that do pull up in their trucks, and they've got it all wrapped, and it's got all the different certification logos, all the stuff down the side.
Well, that's true. His did, so...
Yeah, but they've got it, and they've got what they're I want a guy like that to come do a home inspection, because I want him to make sure that everything's right. I had a guy that did a home inspection that was from a friend of mine who did it, and he goes, I got a buddy of mine. He does all my home inspections. No worries. Homeboy didn't fill up my bathtub.
Oh, homeboy.
Didn't fill up the bathtub, right? Mm-hmm. If he would have even filled the bathtub, not even a lot, just enough to put water in the tub and then let it drain, he would have known that there was a major leak in the pipe and that the water wasn't draining out of the bathtub.
Whoa.
It was draining onto the floor downstairs in my living room.
Oh, no.
And I didn't find that out until the very first day we lived in that house. My dad and I are carrying the couches in, and my wife was taking a shower upstairs. And we walk in, and it's literally raining from the ceiling out of an air vent because it was an access panel for that drain, right?
It's the stuff like this that seems like, oh, it's no big deal. It's not going to... Well, that's something you use a lot, so it is going to be a problem.
Our first day in the house, and we've got a leaky pipe in the main bathroom. Master bathroom, the main bathroom. We have one, the bathroom upstairs. Leaking water. I had to run upstairs, tell my wife, get out of the, stop. It's all pouring down on the carpet downstairs.
Yeah.
We had to suck everything up. I went over to my dad's, got his wet back.
I'm freaked out about the mildew situation. Yeah,
I'm like, we just moved. Between the walls. We just bought this house.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I went after the guy because now he was a Better Business Bureau certified, but I went after it and was like, he didn't check this.
Yeah.
And then I looked into it, and there's a code for certain home inspectors
BBB
that they
is a starting point,
right.
but is by no means the only thing.
It's not the certification.
There's a lot more
right.
that you want to check up
but
on.
it was the certification for like home inspectors, the national one. I used that. I went into that, and I found what they need to test for, and he didn't test for that. And I used that as my stance against him in the Better Business Bureau. I got my money back for it, but I had to file a claim.
Yeah,
I hadn't even made my first insurance payment, and I had to file a claim. Thankfully, my homeowner's insurance covered it.
How much time did you spend doing that? Once again, what is your time worth?
But it's look at that kind of stuff. If I had done I was young and dumb and was just like, okay, man, if you got a guy, use him. And funny enough,
because you trust that friend, okay.
Yeah, but funny enough, that caused my guy, my realtor, to go, I'm never going to use that guy again. And then what he has done in the last decade has focused on getting and using certified, honest technicians that have that actually care about what they're doing in the industry and educating themselves in it. Because that he felt that put a bad taste in my mouth by using him.
We learn a lot more from our mistakes than we do from our victories.
So it's the same thing with detailing. That's the beauty of the IDA, is it sets these level of goals, these level of standards, this code of ethics for guys to achieve and follow. And if all of a sudden all of you in the area are IDA certified, it's going to push out a lot of the bad detailers. It's going to allow customers to feel safer, feel more trusting. It's going to allow you to charge more on your details because of the fact that you have this to show as proof. Like, well, this is why I'm $100 more than this guy. I have these kind of certifications. Find out if that guy does. I carry insurance in my shop. I am bonded. I am licensed. I do all this stuff. That guy that's going to do it cheaper probably doesn't have it.
And there's a difference between bad-mouthing somebody, which I unfortunately see a lot of, depending on the business, and then just offering up very clear, true examples, facts of like, this is my certification, this is what I have.
And this is a national certification, or worldwide. I mean, we are international now. So it's a certification that is very general.
Yeah.
It's not brand specific.
Right.
It's not tool specific. It is a basic level of practices.
Yeah, I don't know where people get that impression from.
You can do it. Yeah. So yes, you can go and do a certification training. Let's say you go to the Optimum training class. You can get certified and become an IDA. You can be certified to use Optimum products, but you know what? You can also take an IDA certified detailer exam while you're there and get your CD. You can take Rennie Doyle's class in detailing success, but guess what? You can also take the IDA certified detailer exam while you're taking Rennie's class.
Yeah.
And a lot of detailing companies who do provide these in-house trainings are starting to add the IDA certified detailer. Rupes is setting up their training for their new training that they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But guess what? You can take the IDA CD exam or the RT. Same with Optimums or the SVs, skills validation.
So there's really not much reason not to do it if you're serious about running your business.
And all these major companies are becoming part of it. Yeah. You know, they're backing the IDA. We are a certified supplier with the IDA. We would love to join the Founders Club, which means that, we're at the upper echelon of companies who are willing to put in the time and effort to help the IDA with that and educate. And then on top of that, provide benefits to some other people who are members who need help.
Because we do. We come back to the education aspect time and time again. That's something we really want to make sure that you guys are learning something.
Yep. So check out the IDA. Look them up, International Detailing Association. Become a member. Do it. It's awesome. If you are already a member, become a CD. Get your certified detailer. If you're a certified detailer, work to find your skills validation. Get that done. You have to get it done by someone who is a recognized trainer.
Yeah.
I will be getting my recognized trainer here in the next month or so that we can start providing that for guys here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's cool.
Yeah. Again, it's education, guys. It's a ladder. Climb it. Enjoy it. Get better at it. And come see us at Mobile Tech.
I was going to say, and if you're at Mobile Tech, you can check it all out, and us, and everybody else who's there. I mean, it's going to be a party.
Well, and it's kind of put on by the IDA. So it's one of the IDA's big shows, and that's kind of one of the fun things about it, too.
It's a great opportunity to get to know what it's all about.
Yep.
So, all right. That's it, guys.
See ya. Have fun.
Till next week. as usual, you can find us on shoutengine.com. You're probably watching this on YouTube, but if you're listening, you may be on Shout Engine, Stitcher, anything like that. So make sure you find us, tell a friend, a family member, anybody like that. We always appreciate it. So until, well, are we going to do this next week? I'm trying to think.
We'll figure it out.
It's going to be close. It may come out on a Tuesday or Wednesday compared to normal. But
we're flying back on Tuesday, so if Dane's able to work on it that night, you never know.
So we'll see about that. But until then, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.